Well, hello there. This is Craig Hain. My students call me Dr. Dell. And over on our left, we have Debbie Goodman. Say hi, Debbie.
Hi, everyone.
Now,
Hi there.
let me tell you about Debbie and myself and what we're going to be doing today. And in order to do that, I'm going to share my screen with you. This is a Zoom call. And when I do that, I'm going to be able to show you just what we're doing. First of all, this is me, Craig Hain. My students call me Dr. Dell. I have a website you can go to, learn a lot about me, learn all about me. I've been teaching math for decades and decades at all levels. I'll be telling you about it in a little bit. And about a decade ago, we formed a company called Triad Math. And the goal of Triad Math is to deliver an optimal math education for 21st century students. And by the way, there's no other company today or organization doing this to my knowledge. What we have is totally unique. We believe it's vastly superior, but you can be the judge of that. But this is our corporate website. Now we have solutions for the homeschool, which I'm going to be talking to you about today. You're going to be very interested, I believe, in that. We also have solutions for the workforce. I've been teaching workforce math for decades. I've taught thousands and thousands of skilled tradesmen in all sorts of major companies. And we have a website, we have a company that does that. Workforce Math Inc. does that. And in fact, just to give you an idea of the things that we teach in workforce math, this is the notebook we use for that company. These are the exercises and the notes, and this is the content of it. And I just want to let you know that it exists. And as a matter of fact, what I'm going to be telling you about today for homeschool, you're going to be getting essentially all of that too, because that provides a wonderful foundation for students. Now, what I want to talk to you about today is this website I believe you've come to or you're going to. You go to triadmath.com, and this is where you come. Now, the first thing, if you have a student that's struggling, you would like to transform that student into a successful math student, this is what this is all about. And you can do that today for less than $1 a day at no risk. So just keep that in mind. If you have a struggling math student, I'm talking post-elementary. But you might have a student that is good at math and does well with it, and they're going to go to college, maybe even study STEM. Well, then that's even more important than what we have to offer you, because this is going to give them the very best 21st century math education that, quite frankly, as you're going to learn, and the reasons why, is vastly superior to what's being taught in most of our schools today. And again, this is all part of the same system, less than $1 a day, no risk. You're going to find out all about that in this video. Now, if you come to this website and click on this video, this is the video you're watching right now, all about it, but you may want to listen to this on a video rather than study the website. So we start out by talking about what happens if you are a homeschool parent and you have a struggling student. And we tell you about that, why this is going to work. What if you have a student that's not struggling, but you want the best math education you can possibly get for that student, whether they're going to study STEM or not? Well, again, this is what this is all about. This is called the Succeed with Math Crusade. Now, what we're going to tell you about today, and by the way, there's a couple quick testimonials below here. This is something we couldn't have done even a year ago. Now, our company's 10 years old. We've been teaching math for a long time. In fact, previous to this company, I was teaching skilled tradesmen for really on-site training for decades. We're doing things now we couldn't do before. And so we're able now, for the first time ever, to do this crusade thing that you're going to learn about. And it's going to be, I think, to your tremendous advantage. So what I'm going to suggest you do is listen to what I'm going to tell you, and you can come back and study it on the website. And we'll talk in a moment about the content. But let me start out and tell you, our program is online. It is self-paced, which is critically important. And it's interactive, so the student can go back and forth with the videos. And it isn't enough just to watch a video. That you won't learn math just watching videos, no matter how good they are, no matter who does them, me or anyone else. You got to do more than that. You've got to have exercises. And even when you're watching a video, you need notes. You need notes so that when you're watching a video, you can add to them, but you don't have to write down everything on the video. That's a very great distraction. And so what we have, when you join the Crusade, you're going to have access to 6 tiers. And I'll tell you more about them in a moment, of training. And the first tier is really all about how to use a scientific calculator, the TI-30XA, less than $10 anywhere, Walmart, Amazon, wherever. And these are the notes that come with it. Now you're going to get a PDF of them you can print out. These are notes and exercises. And there's like 26 lessons, as I recall, in this thing. Now, it's self-paced, as I said, and so on. You can print the notes out. They come with it. Or you can go to Amazon. And just recently, we were able to get Amazon to print these out for you. And you can get these. Debbie, what is it? It's today. It's $5.99?
$5.99, yes.
For tier one, just tier one. So that's for people that say, hey, Dr. Dell, it's hard to print these PDFs out, and we got to print them out for the students and put them in a notebook. And up until now, we really couldn't help you. You just had to do that. Well, now, thanks to Amazon Print on Demand, we can do it. And you can go to Amazon and get them printed out if you want to. That's not included in the program, but it's a service you can have. Now, this is extremely important. You got to have the notes and the exercises. And you got to do this one lesson at a time. It's like climbing a ladder. It is self-paced. Now, what we do after every lesson is we give a quiz. It's a 3-question quiz. In fact, we give it before the lesson so they kind of know they're going to learn. Then they take it after the lesson. That way, they know that they've learned that material. Well, because what happens? They'll watch the video. They'll go do some exercises. Maybe they can't do it. They go back and watch the video. And by the way, during the video, I often tell them, stop the video and do something I've told them to do. It's very interactive. My videos I've created over the last decade, and I call them kitchen table math. And it's the way I would teach a tutor at my kitchen table. The advantage of the video over me actually doing it live is the student controls it. They can back it up. They can take a break. They can rewatch it as many times as they need to. You can't do that with a live tutor. So that's why we can take a struggling student that's failing at math and have them become very successful. It's self-paced, it's interactive. On top of that, it's the content. The content's extremely important. I'm going to talk about content in a moment, but let me first just tell you, you get the notes, you get the exercises, excuse me, and the quizzes. Now, Debbie, I want you to tell them what they do when once they are moving through the program after how it moves along. So let's start with number 4.
Sure. Each tier of our 6-tier program is broken into individual lessons. And each lesson, as Craig said, has a video with notes and exercises, as well as a pre and post test. If the student passes that post test, not only do they get a certificate of completion for that particular lesson, but once they pass the actual section, in other words, all the calculator lessons, they'll get a badge. And it says, tier 1 calculator. So for each section, there's a review test as well as a badge that your student will be rewarded, hopefully to help motivate them, or you can use it as a reward system as well. On number 5, when you join the Crusade, every account gets a free parent account. You have the math in there. If you want to learn the math along with your child, you're certainly more than welcome to, but it's not required. But you do have that option. So the lessons are there for you as well. But mainly what it gives you is the ability to go in and see what your student is doing, see their progression. You can run reports for maybe your state required record keeping. So we keep track of all their progress for you. We keep track basically of their grades. Because we make the student pass the post test, they'll get 100% as far as we're concerned before they can even move on. So that's a way to relieve you of some burdens as a parent on record keeping. In addition to that, if the student on any given lesson has a question, we have a forum just for that topic. And while they're in their account, they can just post that question to the forum. We answer that question, either Dr. Dell or one of our certified math experts, and we'll get that question answered for them. And we have a rule of thumb, if that doesn't solve the problem for that student, we would like to know. Please let Craig or I know, and we'll actually have Dr. Dell do a tutoring session with a student to help them kind of get turned around and moving forward again. The program also, depending on how far your student will go in the program, depending on how many tiers they accomplish, can earn up to 7 credits in high school math. I know that sounds unbelievable. How can you shove 7 years of math into 4 years? But I want you to throw that year concept out of your head, because with Dr. Dell's program, we're teaching them what they need to know. It's not premature. It's not obsolete. Only the topics they need to be successful in their life's goals. So throughout that program, they can earn, as you'll see on the website, up to 7 credits, all the way from Algebra 1 up through Calculus 2. So it depends on how far your student wants to go. It's self-paced, and it's also designed to allow you to stop when the student has completed the goal of either maybe getting those 4 credits you need for your high school transcript, or the math they need to go on into a STEM subject at MIT. So that's how that works.
Yeah. Now, by the way, I think I mentioned it earlier, but Debbie is our director of operations, and one of the aspects of that is customer service. So she's also in charge of customer service, and she gets a lot of accolades for that. She does a fabulous job, and I get involved occasionally when I need to, but she really does it. It's tremendous. Now, what I do want to show you here, what you're really getting in terms of content. One of the things that makes our program unique, I talked about the self-pacing and all that. That's called pedagogy, how you teach it. But the content's radically different than anything you've ever seen. And to prove that, you can download this syllabus, tier 1 through 6, or 6 tiers to this. Now, I've already downloaded it, so I'm going to bring it up and show it to you very quickly. And you can look at it. It's a PDF you can look at. And what you get here, let me move this out of the way where I can now move over here to move this down. What you get here are our syllabus. So there's no secret about what we're teaching. And you can show this to any math expert. If you don't understand it, that's fine. But we start out with tier 1 with the calculator. And we teach them how to use the scientific TI-30XA, that specific calculator. Now, this is critically important. It's kinesthetic, it's hands-on, and if your child is struggling, this is going to give them the confidence and build their self-esteem that they can do it. I can't tell you the accolades we get, because this is how we start. You got to get the student psychology right so they'll go ahead and learn math. So we're teaching them how to use a scientific calculator, and we get tremendous compliments and thank yous for that. And then, just to be sure they know the rules of arithmetic, we review the rules of arithmetic. We call it pre-algebra. Now, that's tier 1 that I talked to you about already. And this would be the notes for it that you would get a PDF of to print out, or you could buy them from Amazon very inexpensively. Now, tier 2 then is where things really start. And this is where we really deviate from ordinary standard math curriculum. Here is algebra. Now, this is the first time that we're going to teach the student algebra. And notice there's only 10 lessons, because that's all you need for workforce or the military. This is the algebra you use. Algebra books today that are taught are thick algebra books with stuff in them that's obsolete, stuff in them that's premature. They should be taught yet. It's amazing. And so you're going to get all that. Now, there's no book that does this. So now you're into tier 2, this is the tier 2 notes. Okay. This book is, I think it's a little more expensive. It's 224 pages of notes and exercises, and it starts with 10 lessons of algebra. Then we do geometry. Now, geometry, this is practical geometry. This is geometry you use in the real world. We're not, quote, proving theorems and doing things that are premature. We want you to understand how long, what's the area, what's the volume of these different things. And, well, students love it. Now, here's a problem in the real world. Geometry and algebra go together, by the way. You're always using them together to solve problems. But then there's angle problems, and geometry and algebra cannot solve a lot of angle problems. You need what's called trigonometry. Now, this scares a lot of people. Oh my goodness, trigonometry, which is a huge subject, but we teach the practical part. 8 lessons, actually 7 lessons, because 8 I'm just telling you beyond. And it's even easier. Now, this tier 2, algebra, geometry, and trig, most students go through this in less than a semester. 1 semester and you're through it. And when you get done with tier 2, your student will know more mathematics than 95% of all the adults in the United States. I'm not talking about the engineers and the scientists, but just in general. More importantly, they'll be ready for the military. They'll be ready to go and take a non-professional technical job, like an apprenticeship. They'll be ready to study hydraulics or pneumatics or electrical at a practical level. That's tier 2. Now, if they're not going to go to college, they may be done if they want to. Depends on your requirements of your state, of course. Tier 3 is aimed at college students now that are wanting to do well on the SAT or the ACT. And for the first time, we use a book. Now, I won't call it a textbook because it's the greatest math textbook ever written. It's called Pre-Calculus Mathematics in a Nutshell by Dr. George Simmons. And I talk all about that in other videos. It's 119 pages long. It's algebra, geometry, and trigonometry at a deeper level now than what I've already covered, but it's still very understandable. This is the best book. I've taught out of all kinds of textbooks when I taught at high school and college. This is far and away the best. It's only about $15 on Amazon. No schools ever use it because it's not being promoted. It's a great book. And so we do use that. And when you see here where I say Simmons, pages, whatever, that's out of Simmons' book. And it's great. Now, unfortunately, this was written in 1988, by the way, Simmons' book was. This was before we had a lot of the modern technologies. So as I move through here, I do give you a lot of special things that are not in Simmons' book, and I call them custom notes. And then this goes on, SAT, ACT preparation, because we're getting people ready to take the SAT. Now, I will tell you a little secret. You can make a perfect score on the Math SAT, and you're not ready for college. There's not much content compared to what you need. So then what we do, now I've told you about tier 2, and here's tier 3, the notes for it. Okay, notes and exercises. Then you go into tier 4. Now, tier 4 is remarkable. This is, now we're going way beyond anything that any schools do today in tier 4. It's absolutely amazing. I'm using Simmons' book somewhat, but I'm also using a lot of custom notes. But here's where the biggie comes in. This is the biggie now. Wolfram Alpha. If you ever heard of Wolfram Alpha, that is a program introduced by Steve Wolfram in 2009, and it revolutionizes the way you do mathematics and the way you learn mathematics. If you've never heard of it, maybe you've heard of Siri on the iPhone. Well, that's based on Wolfram Alpha. But what happens with Wolfram Alpha is you can go in and ask it, if you know how to do it, it's like a tool, you ask it a math question and it gives you a tremendous answer that you couldn't possibly do manually. It will also show you how to do it manually if you could do it manually. Graphing functions, maximum, minimum, it's a phenomenal thing. And I introduced that in A5 and begin to use it. And it is an incredible tool. And let me tell you something, if you're going to go to MIT or any great engineering school or science school, you got to learn how to use a tool like this, because all the engineers and scientists today are no longer using the old manual techniques that are still being taught. They're using the modern tool. Wolfram Alpha is like having a drill with a battery operated drill compared to the old brace and bit manual tool that we did in carpentry, which is that's the kind of math being taught today in our school, because the textbooks they haven't caught up with the modern times and modern tools. So this goes on, and I do algebra. I've already done geometry with it, and then trigonometry. And then I do something that's not taught today in high school. And by the way, tier 4 is for potential STEM students. This is for people that might want to study science or engineering. And by the way, historically, mathematics has been a big barrier for those students. It's not anymore because of the tool Wolfram Alpha. The barrier's gone. Used to be a big barrier. Oh my goodness, I got to learn all of this very hard math to even learn science and engineering. Well, no longer. Now, complex numbers are an extremely important topic that you need for engineering and science. It's not even taught in high school today properly. This is my 11 lesson on it that is phenomenal. And anybody that's going to go to college or study engineering or science, that alone is worth the program. Then I have special topics, and then I have some more special topics in geometry, and that's tier 4. Now, tier 4, by the way, takes a year. Most students take at least a year. Now, you can take as long as you need. You can take 2 years. It depends on the student. Self-paced. They go at their own pace, how fast they need to learn. Okay, now, if you're going to go to college, you want to learn calculus before you go. You do not want to wait till you go to college to learn calculus. You want to learn it now, and you want to learn it properly. So in Tier 5, we do calculus. Now, if you don't know math, this won't mean much to you, but there's two kinds of calculus. There's differential. That's usually called Calculus 1. That's where you're learning slopes and angles and maximum and minimum. And then that's not terribly hard the old-fashioned way, but we use the new tool now. But then Calculus 2 is integral calculus. Now, this is what has flunked more students out of math and barred them from STEM than anything else, because the old manual tools for integral calculus are extremely difficult. On a scale of 1 to 10, the old manual tools for calculus are about an 8. Differential calculus is only about a 2 or 3. Most people get through that with a manual tool. But integral calculus is different. Now, I know I taught engineering school, and I remember, this is what happened then. Well, Wolfram Alpha changes that. Calculus 2 now is down, the difficulty down to 2. Wolfram Alpha solves all that. So I teach calculus, both differential and integral. And by the way, very few high schools get to integral calculus. Most high school teachers don't even know it. Okay, the whole calculus thing, 1 semester. What? 1 semester? How can that be? Well, I'll tell you why. It's the tool. It makes it easy. And it's so much easier to understand when you can do lots of examples quick and easy, which Wolfram Alpha lets you do. Okay, now, this is definitely, you got to go through this to get ready for any good engineering school, but it goes beyond that. Nobody today in high school teaches what's called differential equations. Differential equations, now, again, if you don't know math, this may not mean much to you, but show this to somebody that knows math. If you know an engineer or scientist, differential equations are the workhorse of STEM, of science and engineering. They're the workhorse. This is how you set up your models, and then you solve them, and the solution's a function. Well, differential equations is so difficult manually that it's usually not taught until the 2nd year of college, of university. We can do it in high school now. 1 semester. Why? Wolfram Alpha. It does all this for you. It's an incredible tool. If I were sending a child of mine today to go to engineering school, I would put them through these 6 tiers before I sent them. Then, quite frankly, they don't need calculus and differential equations at the engineering school because they already know it and they know the tool. In fact, most engineering schools today that I'm aware of are not yet teaching the modern tool. They're still teaching the old manual tools, and they're obsolete. Go ask, if you know a scientist or an engineer, go ask them and say, if you had to solve a differential equation or use calculus to analyze a function, how would you do it? And if they're doing it, they're going to say, well, I use a tool. And of course, Wolfram Alpha. And by the way, Wolfram Alpha is a free tool. It's fantastic. So I know I'm going into this pretty deep, but you need to know what you're getting into. And that's what we're doing now. Now, having said all that, let me back up a little bit. Let's go back to what you're getting as a Crusade member. The Crusade members, and by the way, you're getting all of this for less than $1 a day. If you have elementary children, I've been asked for a long time, well, what do? I have elementary kids and I want to teach them the math they need to know. Basic arithmetic, basic geometry. Well, I tell them, look, I was homeschooled by my Uncle Jack Davis. He was a barber and a builder, not a math teacher, but he taught me practical math. He taught me how to count. He taught me how to do basic geometry. And so I did a bunch of videos on it. These are my Uncle Jack videos. They're aimed at, not at children, at parents. But a parent can watch them and see how I was taught, and then they can do the same thing. It's very easy to do. So if you have elementary students, these Uncle Jack videos could be quite valuable to you. Now, having said all that, if you join the Crusade, which I'm going to definitely urge you to do, and if you like it, and it's beneficial to you, and you start telling your friends about it, every time you tell a friend, and they then join, we're going to give you or your child a $20 Amazon gift card. This is just to motivate you to share the message, to share the wealth and spread it out. So that's basically what the Crusade consists of. Actually, there's more things you'll find out about. Now, we have a lot of testimonials, and one in particular I really like was by Tyler and Chris Hansen. They're from Texas, and it made me feel so good when Tyler gave me this testimonial. I wasn't expecting it. I've had a lot, we have a lot of testimonials over the years, but I was actually talking to Tyler one day about, he was trying to do something special with calculus, and I was talking to him, and he got to telling me a story. Oh my goodness. And so he did a Zoom video with his mom, and I forget who did. Was it you, Debbie? Anyway, it's a great video, and you need to watch this video. It will make you feel good. Now, what I'm going to tell you to do is, look, we can give you all the testimonials. We can tell you all sorts of things. The only way you're going to find out if it's going to work for you is try it. Will it work for your student? You're going to be the coach, by the way. You're not the teacher. You're the coach. I'm the teacher. It's a partnership. We'll have videos. We'll share with you how to be a good coach if you don't know. You probably do already. But what you do is you join the crusade. It is $29 per month. And and then you have access to everything I'm talking about for as long as you need it. You don't sign a long-term contract. You have it as long as you want it. And it's for your whole family. You might have 2 or 3 children in your family doing different things on it at different levels, and that's fine. Don't compare. Now, to make sure it works, we're going to give you 30 days to use it. You pay for it, you get 30 days. If for any reason you don't like it, you cancel it, and we'll give you back your $29, full refund. You will have to go out, if you don't already have one, and buy a calculator, so that'll cost you less than $10, but that's the only investment you got. You'll get the PDFs of the notes, you can print them out. Once you decide to use them, you'll probably go to Amazon and buy the books. I'm amazed at how this technology at Amazon is with these books. We only found out about it a few months ago, didn't we, Debbie?
Yes, and I believe I've calculated that it's cheaper to buy the book already from Amazon than it is to actually print it at home when you calculate your paper and ink costs. So it actually saves you money.
Yeah, we used to have people say, printing out these notes is hard. Can't you sell us a hard copy? And the answer back in the old days, well, yeah, but it's going to be $25 or $30 for us to do it. And you could just go down and have it done at wherever. They'll cost you. Well, now Amazon print on demand. By the way, our videos used to be flash videos for years and years. That's all because that was the technology. When we started doing this 10 years ago, flash was the modern video technology. Well, it's obsolete now. Just this year, all the videos now are MP4, and they come off of Amazon Web Services. That's why they're always available. Everything I'm telling you now, we could not have done a year ago. This is brand new. And the training is the same that we had before, but it's just the delivery system. So I'm telling you, join the crusade. Now, if you're not ready to do that for whatever reason, Debbie, tell them what to do.
Well, number one, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My number is right there, 812-355-3030, extension 402 comes directly to me. Or you can send me an email if you are phone phobic, info@triadmathinc.com. And I will get if I don't know the answer to your question, I will confer with Dr. Dell and get an answer for you.
And
also, yeah, just below that, we've included a few more testimonials just so you can see. These are mainly from some of our homeschool parents. But I talk to people every day, and I get positive feedback every day. I don't always document. So if you have any questions or want some more input from other parents, also please reach out to me. I can get you more, believe me.
Yeah, let me just toot Debbie's horn. She is, like I said, she's our operations director, and that part of that is customer service. And I get tremendous compliments on Debbie's customer service. It's amazing. It's not me. I'm the teacher. Okay. I've done the videos and I've done all that stuff, but customer service is very important, and we get tremendous compliments on Debbie doing it. So I'm going to close this video off now, because you can go to the website now and look at all this yourself. But I'm just going to say to you, try it. The only way to prove it is to try it yourself. And so to try it, join the crusade, try it for 30 days. Once you do, I'm pretty sure you're going to stay tuned in. We do have other products we sell. I call them ad hoc products. And by the way, once you join the crusade, we're going to start communicating with a series of emails, more information. In fact, there's more benefits than what I've even told you about here. Believe it or not, there's a lot more benefits than what I've told you. But enough's enough. But the point being, our mission is for you to deliver to your child an optimal math education for your child, regardless of their ability in math, where they are in math, and so on. That's our mission. And we have a lot of clients now that say that that's being fulfilled, and there's nothing like it out there. So you're going to get a lot of more things once you join the crusade in a series of emails, because we have to be sure you fully understand just what you can be doing. For example, I will send you some videos that I've created on how to be a great coach. You're the coach, I'm the teacher, but it's a teamwork. We're kind of working together, and they need a coach. Online teachers, you got to have that, but it's not enough. So you're going to get all that. So I urge you to join the crusade today. Tell other people about it. Share the if you send them to just triadmath.com, they'll come to this page and learn about it and share it with them, and so on and so forth. And hopefully you will be successful with your child, and we'll look forward to having you. And with that, I'm going to bid you adieu and wish you well in your future with your child. Debbie, say goodbye.
Bye, everyone.